Alright, so now that we have our gold ore as added as a value to our data store, right? We have gold ore, and we also have gold ore added to our leader stats down here. Gold ore. What we can do is program it so that when we touch the gold that we placed here, our gold ore on our leader stats is going to go up, and then when we leave the game, that data will be saved on the server. Right? Okay, so how is that going to happen? Well, let's go ahead and go into our gold nuggets one. Don't worry if you don't have these, you shouldn't have them, so I'm going to delete them right now. Right, so you're going to have something that looks similar to this, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to go into gold ore, the first one, that one right there, and we're going to program its script. Okay, you can see here I already have the script programmed, but I'm going to redo it. Okay, so let's go ahead and type in here script.parent. No, let's do local or gold is equal to script dot parent, and then we're going to do a touch, so we're going to do gold dot touched connect function touched part, yeah, like that. Okay, let's see. Okay, so it should look like that, and when the gold is touched by something, it's going to run this function, right? And then the part that touches it is going to be there. So let's see, the first thing we need to do is check to see it's a human, right? So again, remember in the beginning when we load the gold is going to be placed here, and the touch is going to fire, and it's going to fire because it's touching the terrain, it's touching the ground, right? And we don't want this to execute if that's true. We only want this to execute if what touched the gold is the player. So let's go ahead and say here if, well, let's go ahead and use, can we go back to what we had before in our part? You see this part that we had? The one where it increases the number of gold ore. Well, let's open that up and let's copy and paste this because we're going to need it, right? Instead of part, it's going to be gold. So let's do gold there. And so, yeah, it follows the same format, right? We get the player from the touched part, and then we check if it's the player. So if it's the player, then we want to do something. Okay, and what do we want to do? We want to do this exact same thing, actually, right? We want to increase the gold ore value by 1, and yeah, I think we can go ahead and play that and see if it works. But again, if you go ahead and play it, you're going to spawn way over there, right? And then you're gonna have to walk way over here, which is gonna be kind of a drag. So why don't we put a spawn point right here just so we could test our game. Okay, so let's right click our workspace, insert object, and then we'll go to spawn location, and do we have 2 spawn locations? Let's yeah, you might be wondering how I did that, right? Which is what I did is I clicked on a part in the workspace, and then I warped right to it. And how do I do that? I click it, so I highlight it, and then I press F, and it whoa, that's not right. And then I press, whoa. Okay, so I highlight the piece, and then I press F to warp to it. Okay, so I was kind of confused because there's 2 spawn locations here. So I went to the first one and pressed F, and I warped to it, and it's right there in the middle of town where we spawn. Okay, and so that's one that I don't want to be active, right? So maybe I could just like delete it for now, and then once we're finished, I could put it back. Okay, let's see. Is that the best way to go about this? Okay, maybe instead we can come down here to the properties and enabled, we can uncheck that. Okay, so this is not going to happen anymore. This one is going to be the spawn location. All right, and then once we're finished with it, we could delete this, go back and enable the original spawn location. So let's go and test it, see if it works. And I believe it was just one of the gold nuggets. Okay, so let's go ahead and find out which one it is. I think it was one that was like right there. I think that one was it. Whoa. Okay, so you see that? Our gold ore is going up as I touch it. Right? But that's a problem because we don't want the gold ore to keep on going up as it touches it. Right? We want it to be like, okay, I collected the gold ore is no longer there, and my gold ore went up by 1, and then I can go and collect the other one, and then the gold ore will go up by 1, and so on. Right? So we can only collect these once. That's the way that we want this to happen. So let's go ahead and fix that, but let's do that in the next video.